Hi, everybody. Welcome to Unapologetics, the podcast where we read a Christian article and explain why it's stupid. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to actually sit down and do an article, so I'm going to try to do that today. So that's what we're working on, and I will be taking comments and stuff like that too. I am going to edit this down for the audio podcast, but I figured I'll do it live. Just go through what I'm doing live. So this is an article, and it says it's from, let's see, Christianity Today, right? And it's 4 in 10 evangelicals say they've been visited by the dead. Now, I'm not sure if anybody's aware exactly why this is such a problem for them, right? But they believe in heaven and hell. So they're not supposed to be believing that they can just be visited by the dead, because you can't just waltz out of heaven or hell, right? You're up in there. So you're stuck if you're there, So that's what I'm pretty sure. I honestly haven't read this. I like to experience these things live so that we can all kind of react to it together. But so yeah, let's see what this is about. Oh, and somebody's hugging a person that I guess wrote themselves out of history, like Marty McFly. I'm not sure. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Last summer, Heather Beville felt something she hadn't in a long time: a hug from her sister Jessica, who died at age 30 from cancer. Jesus. In a dream, I hugged her and I could feel her, even though I knew in my logic that she was dead. She said she immediately texted a group chat with her close friends, including her husband and her pastor. Don't tell your pastor that. You already fucked up. You already fucked up right there. To tell them about it. Like fellow Christians, Beville is sure that death is not the end, but she's also among a significant number who say they have continued to experience visits from deceased loved ones here on Earth. Jeez. It's like, again, you can't do that. If you're a Christian, you have to believe according to the belief system that you have chosen that people go to heaven and hell after they die. There is no coming back to hang out for a bit, unfinished business. No, none of that. There isn't any of that. There's no Casperin, okay, going on. In a recent Pew Research poll, 42% of self-identified evangelicals said that they have been visited by a loved one who had passed away. Rates were even higher among Catholics and Black Protestants, 2/3 of whom reported such experiences. Now, this is why I picked this one, because a friend of mine is he's sort of just like a generic Christian. I don't even think he knows what denomination he is. But he was saying that the other day that he had was talking to somebody who said that they saw their loved one that had just passed away wearing all white. So and I always feel so awkward because they know where I stand on these types of things. So I always feel awkward. I'm like, oh, cool, okay, yep, that's, you just said that. Mm-hmm. Sure. I don't know how to react to that. Without being like, yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, that's not true. You believe him when they said that? Really? Okay. you know, uh, let's see here. Interactions with the dead fall into a precarious supernatural space. Staunch secularists will say they're impossible and must be made up. That's me. Yes. or mistaken, or you're just thinking about it, and so it burns itself into your memory as you actually seeing them. But a lot of times it's just you misremembering what happened. Anyway, the Bible-believing Christians may be weary of the spiritual implications of calling on ghosts from beyond. that sounds so ominous. So I decided, okay. Yet more than half of Americans believe a dead family member has come to them in a dream or some other form. I mean, in a dream, I feel like when you say in a dream, it cancels it out. That's not a thing. Like, who gives a shit? We dream about all sorts of fucking stupid shit, you know? Jeez Louise. The other day, I dreamed that I was boxing Barney, the big, dinosaur. Yeah, we were in a boxing match. You know, they're weird. Okay. That didn't mean anything. I wasn't boxing the ghost of Barney or anything. The survey didn't clarify how people processed these interactions, whether they thought they were mystical or believed they have had natural causes. What? How would you have natural? Like what? Oh, you mean like you just believing that you see? Okay, got it. I was about to say, what the fuck? That doesn't happen through natural causes. but let's see. Those who respond that loved ones visited them in a dream, for example, included those who may believe their loved ones were trying to send messages to them, as well as those who might have simply dreamt about a favorite memory with their family member. Yeah, see, and that's it. That's exactly the message I got from my buddy who's a Christian. He said, "I think they were trying to tell me something. They're trying to tell me they're okay." And I mean, you can obviously see that how, like, psychologically what's going on there. They want to feel like that person is okay. Because here's the thing: when it comes to Christianity, the whole point of Christianity is supposed to make you, or religion in general, supposed to make you feel more comfortable with the fact that we die, and your family members will die, right? Um, and it's supposed to help you because, hey, now you get to go live with them for forever in a magical golden amusement park, you know, and that's why you should believe whatever it is, right? But the problem is because they're so focused on uh, terrorizing people into their religion, it actually just cancels out all of that comfort because they could possibly be in fucking hell. So even the amount that they claim to like help people deal with death and stuff, they cancel it out with the belief in hell. It's like it fucks everything up. It's so funny. So they it actually makes them go through more distress because instead of just thinking that they're gone, now they're thinking, hey, they might be burning forever. I hope I have a confirmation that they're not burning. And so when they show up and dressed in white, okay, oh boy, I was worried that you were in the torture dungeon that my perfect loving God created. See, it completely ruins any kind of comfort that religion would bring to just knowing the fact that people die. So I guess these are all of the stats. So 46% in a dream, and another form 31%, either 53%. Americans overall. Wow, 50% of Americans. Jesus Christ. Like, I feel like, do you think, like, skeptics, we would say, well, I thought that I saw him, but I don't think it was true. I think I was just, like, thinking about them a lot and then, like, seared that in as a memory. And it turned into me actually seeing them when it was really just me thinking about them a lot. You know what I mean? Religious affiliation. Okay, evangelicals in a dream, 38%, in another form, 22%. So that's 22 because I don't count the dream thing. Who gives a shit about that, right? 22% in another form, though. That means they believe that they actually came to them, right? Black Protestants, I don't know why they have that as a separate category, but okay. They're 60%. Jeez. Wow. And my buddy is a Black Protestant, but he, in another form, 34%, right? And he would have been, he would have fallen in the, another form category, right? And then because it wasn't in a dream. And then I guess 67% is either Catholics, religious unaffiliated. Really? Oh, even a religious unaffiliated. So even people that don't believe in a God or believe in organized religion still have these experiences. It's just interesting because it's like it shows what we do in our brains to like feel better about death, you know which we're all going to inevitably feel kind of some type of way about death eventually, right? It's bound to fucking happen. Experience these interactions is correlated with some sense of religious faith. 63% of people with what Pew designates as medium religious commitment, which is practically none, by the way, in their in Pew's like thing. It's just like, do you go to church like 3 times a year or something like that? That's medium religious commitment. So who may not go to church every week or pray every day, but still believe. Yeah, see, say that they have sensed their dead family members. Okay. People who are moderately religious seem to be more likely than other Americans to have these experiences. Pew researchers said this is due in part to the fact that some of the most traditionally religious groups, such as evangelical Protestants, as well as some of the least religious parts of the population, such as atheists and agnostics, are less likely to report having interactions with deceased family members. I wonder why that is. You know, it's almost as if, you're more grounded to reality, that you're not gonna believe that people actually visited you and stuff after they died. You're gonna be a bit skeptical if you even think that that happened. You're like, hold on, was I dreaming? That seems to, and then they're not gonna tell anybody their dream. They're not gonna be like, hey, I had a dream. You know, uh, Beville, who is now a hospice volunteer and Stephen Ministries lay caregiver at her church, identified with the findings. It's people who have the room and space to say there might be something more versus people who have more of that fundamentalist or black and white background, she said. Okay. Beville was raised Baptist, and the profound experience of witnessing her sister's death 17 years ago cemented her belief in God. It was her faith that got her through the overwhelming grief that followed. Seeing Jessica in dreams and sensing her presence brought comfort. See, a lot of this is just like your brain's way of like calming you down, and making you feel better about it. That's which it seems perfectly natural to me. You know what I mean? Not long after Jessica died, Beville dreamed of her sister sitting in a diner in her healthy pre-cancer body. When Beville was in labor praying for a second daughter, she saw her sister in a rocking chair in the delivery room. See, and that's in like a moment of extreme stress. Shortly before giving birth to another girl, she teared up, recounting the story, which she repeats to her daughter, Elizabeth Jessica, every year on her birthday. That's okay. I don't know if your daughter wants to hear that. That's kind of weird. Okay. She's in heaven, but I very much feel her presence, and the sense of it brings great comfort, said Beville. Well, how is that? How is it how could it possibly be the fact that she's in heaven, but she's sending you messages or like coming to you and stuff like that's not how heaven works, according to anything I've ever uh like seen, theologically anyway. Researchers say most people who report after death communications find the interactions to be comforting, not haunting or scary. Yeah, because that's exactly what the brain's trying to do. It's trying to comfort you. But they're often very valuable for people. Exactly. See, they give them hope that their loved one is still there and still connected to them. Julie Exline, a professor in Case Western Reserve University who studies the psychology of religion and spirituality, these experiences help people even if they don't know what to make of them. Yeah, because it's like I said, like I think that a lot of this is it's people don't want to think that they're just their loved one is forgotten. That's like one of their biggest fear because they don't want to be forgotten, right? So then that's like a fear for them. So they want to be like, so I mean, it's like so subconsciously they'll have these experiences believing that like, oh, they are actually there, they are actually communicating with them, when really they're subconsciously just saying, I don't want to forget this person. I don't because I don't want to be forgotten after I die. So I don't want to forget this person. You know what I mean? Seems like that's what's happening, as far as I can tell, anyway. Let's see, Professor. These experiences help people even if they don't know what to make of them. There are several factors that come into play for a person to turn to supernatural explanations for what they've experienced. A recent religions article by doctoral student Kathleen Payton Exline cites prior belief in God, angels, spirits, or ghosts combined with a belief that these beings actually do communicate with people in the world as one condition the relationship between a person and their loved one. The need for relational closure amid prolonged grief can also be a factor, and women are more likely to report the phenomena. Interesting. So yeah, it's just like a way of coping, it seems. But if you have like the prior conditions, I guess to have these experiences, you're gonna have them more often, or you're at least not afraid to report them, right? You're gonna if you believe in like afterlife and stuff like that, it's not anything to say that they would just tell somebody about it and you're like, oh yeah, I think I saw them, and just they just let me know that they're okay. But psychologists can come off as skeptical of such experiences, and clients may be afraid to disclose them, assuming it means they're crazy. Religious Religious settings may not be much better. Evangelicals and people with high religious commitment were less likely to report interactions with dead relatives in the Pew survey. Yeah, because they're not allowed to believe that they can come to you. Well, they have to believe that they either go to heaven or hell. It's against their theology. Bereavement syndrome. Oh, is that what it's called? Bereavement syndrome? I could see that. That makes sense. It's just like, it's just your way of dealing. Our brains are incredible. They do like the coolest stuff, even without us knowing about it. They like protect us in ways that we don't even realize. It's awesome. Uh, I think a lot of Christians are maybe afraid to talk about this or do not know what to do with it. They could at least take some comfort in knowing a lot of people have these experiences, said Excellent. Coming out of a fundamentalist evangelical background, she knows that some religious traditions view these experiences as demonic or kind of freaky. Got like the kind of freaky. Got to add that, Oh, I don't think it's demonic, but it's kind of freaky. All right, it's kind of freaky. And this kind of plays off of like what I was just a video that I just covered on the Punk Apostate. It's these people that believe that if you interact with people in your dreams and stuff, like interacting with dead people in your dreams is one of the things that make you that mean that witches are casting spells on you. So this is like serious stuff, to them, to the Christian. All right. The Christian faith operates around the reality of the spiritual realm, even if some of today's believers can be tempted to downplay it. Chris Papar, fucking Jesus, what? Papalardo. Okay, you know what? Don't have tongue twister names. All right, don't do that. All right, come on. Wrote for CT. That's Christianity Today. One Halloween. One Halloween, of course, you got to scare everybody on Halloween. Okay. Our holy book contains stories of spirits being called back from the dead. He's got some Bible verses there of men who thought they were seeing ghosts and demons who did tremendous damage, both spiritually and physically. Jesus. Okay. So why does anybody want to read this and believe this book? Jesus Christ. In fact, Jesus' ministry can be characterized as an extended battle between his Holy Spirit and the lesser spirits of darkness, a battle that finds its dramatic conclusion in the paradoxical defeat of those spirits on Calvary. It's really odd that they were able to turn him into the victor after having being tortured to death by the Romans. but he's the one with the upper hand the whole time because that was what was supposed to happen. Okay, that's how you fix it. No, I meant to do that kind of reinterpretation of Jesus dying or whatever. When it comes to the question of a portal to the other side, one night a year might be too modest. If the New Testament is any indication, that portal is never completely closed. What? They talk about a portal in the Bible in Ephesians? Okay. Uh-huh. Our world has far more spirits involved in its affairs than we realize. Of course, you think that. Of course. Inside and outside the church, Christians refer to their late family members, looking down on them or going with them as guardian angels. Whether that common imagining of the afterlife is actually theologically sound may depend on who you ask. Many theologians say that we can't know for sure what the previously departed are doing while we are here on earth. Well, that's good. At least that's what they're doing. Nothing. They're not. They're dead. Okay, they're not there anymore. But they're like, I don't know. Maybe they're playing in the park. Maybe they're playing basketball together right now. We don't know. How do you know? Okay, I'd be playing basketball right now if I could fly. All right, that'd make the game a lot easier. I'm not that tall. All right, it's kind of boring. But John Piper wrote that Hebrews 12:1, referencing running the race before a great cloud of witnesses. Oh, cloud of, is that a misprint? Does it say a great cloud? Anyway, all right. Could indicate the saints watching down to cheer us on. Yet he warns we should not be cautioned to beware of spending too much time thinking about the saints above, so that we are tempted to interact with them rather than focusing on Christ and the throne of grace that he has open to us. Okay. Yeah, because that is one thing I always forget with Catholics. They have that in between space or whatever, right? So they actually can, they actually do believe that they can interact with the saints, and then the saints can actually, like, if you pay enough money and pray, get these high level dudes to pray your whatever, um, out of purgatory into heaven. That's what they think you can do. I remember my parents getting so mad because they had lost a child, and they got all of these letters in the mail from Catholics saying, "Hey, can we pray your deceased child into heaven because they're in purgatory right now?" It was really fucked up. I was like, "What? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, where's your head at? These people are fucking going through some serious shit, and you're like, but here, let's magic them. Just pay us, and we'll magic them into heaven." The spiritual realm described in Scripture comes with strong warnings. The text repeatedly advises against calling on spirits outside of God Himself, with several Old Testament verses specifically addressing interactions with the dead, necromancy, in some translations. Deuteronomy 18, for example, decries anyone who is a medium or spiritist. Spiritist. I would love to hear somebody call themselves that. I'm a spiritist. Yeah, you know, I do spirits. That's what I do. Or who consults with the dead. What, man? That wouldn't that just be a medium? That's what that means. Okay, as detestable to the Lord. Okay, evangelicals believe they have seen deceased relatives in their dreams or sensed their presence, can be hesitant to come to their pastors with their experience because they've likely heard a leader decry communications with the dead. Billy Graham called it an occult practice. So you can accidentally do occult practices to these people. This is why it's so they put so much in your brain that's like unnecessary and harmful, that in order to just keep you fucking spinning your wheels, they keep you never paying attention to how stupid all your beliefs are. They got all these fears that they want to tack onto it. And that's one of them. If you accidentally, I say accidentally, if you dream, whether you intend to or not, of a dead person, like, that's an occult practice. You just took part in an occult practice in your fucking dream. It's like, no wonder nobody wants to be Christian. That's all I'm saying. Still in the past year, 26% of evangelical Protestants reported feeling the presence of a family member who died, and 21% spoke to a dead family member about events in their life. Pew found just 10% of the evangelicals said that they had dead family members communicate with them. Exline and fellow scholars also group near-death experiences, after-death communications, and similar spiritual phenomenon among the anomalous experiences for their study. Oh, yeah. Visions from near-death experiences, including reports of seeing departed relatives while visiting heaven, have drawn skepticism from evangelicals, particularly as such accounts became popular as best-selling books around a decade ago. What? Became popular as best-selling books? I don't know what that means. When Beville describes the dreams with her sister, she also brings up the moments right before Jessica's death, when she went from being unconscious to seemingly speaking to God. In both, she said there is kind of like that thin barrier between heaven and earth. What? And that's it. Okay. Interesting. There's a thin barrier between heaven and earth. I did not know that. And so this is what's so interesting about this. And it shows that, like, they really just, they want more out of life. They want to believe that it's not as simple as what it actually is. To me, I actually find comfort in, like, absurdism and things like that. I don't know, a lot, or like, or is existentialism and stuff, where you're just like, nothing actually matters, and so it's awesome because we can make anything matter as much as we want. I find that comforting. I think that's awesome. But for a lot of Christians, it seems that hell no, they have to believe that there is something more and there's all this other stuff going on, but they don't get that their beliefs like run into themselves, right? Because it's like the fact that they feel more comforted knowing that they, their loved ones will live on forever. It's like, oh, that's so great that they'll live on forever. But then you have to believe in hell. That fucks up your whole comfort thing, man. Because now you're never gonna know. It's like all those people say, like when you go to like your aunt's funeral and they're all talking about her being in heaven, and you're like, yeah, but she's in hell though. She's in hell. We all know she's in hell. Okay. Have you met that lady? All right. She's in hell for sure. you know. So, but thanks so much for hanging out. I wanted to do just a live reading kind of the Unapologetics podcast. If you want to support the show, you can support us by supporting by supporting our sponsor, which is adamandeve.com. Just go to adamandeve.com and enter code word BX. That's capital B, capital X. That's for this specific show, right? You can also do Brently, like the thing says. That's fine. But BX is the code for this specific podcast, the Unapologetics podcast. So go to adamandeve.com. It's 50 years of satisfaction guaranteed. America's most trusted source for sex toys. And they have got everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. And everything that you can think of as far as like having fun with sex. They got all the kink stuff. They got all the strap-on stuff. They got everything. So just go to adamandeve.com, enter code word BX, and get 50% off almost any one item, 3 free gifts, 6 free movies, and free shipping on the whole order. And it is discreet. The shipping is discreet. It's not going to say sex toys in big, bold writing as much as I ask them to do that when, I have stuff delivered. They said no. So I just have to write it on myself and then leave it outside for a couple of days. So that way everybody knows how cool I am. Anyway, but go to adamandeve.com, enter code BX, and get your exclusive offer. But hey, thanks y'all so much for hanging out. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to try to do more of these, do it live, so that way we can get some comments and stuff in the audio podcast. If you want to like and subscribe, that'd be great. That always helps. But if you also could give the Unapologetics podcast 5 stars wherever the podcast lives, and that's all over the place, everywhere, that would be very helpful. And what do we say to the haters, discriminators, and masturbator shamers? Fuck off.